some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Oh, hello, folks. I'm Dan Hollifield, and welcome to Last Man Standing. Not a lot of folks with us tonight. Richie's with me backstage at the moment, and most of the rest of our friends have decided to call it an early night, which is absolutely fine. I mean, it's not like any of us are getting paid for this. We just do it because we like hanging out together. So, uh, here's Richie, and let me get this back up here where we're a little bit larger and I can actually see the screen. We actually got the third thunderstorm in 3 days after having well over a month of no rain whatsoever. So things are greening back up, thankfully.
I'm gonna say you guys are like sorely overdue.
Yeah, we are. But there seems to be some accident of geography that causes storms to split and go around us, which is fine during tornado season. Believe me, I love that little benefit during tornado season. But as far as not having my front yard turn into the Dust Bowl, it's unfortunate from time to time, but it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Um, got a little bit of carpentry and plumbing and stuff to do. Um, got a new water heater to install. I've got to remove the old one. Not a huge task. I've got a hand truck and cargo straps to make sure it stays on the hand truck. And the other one, the new one, it's got a pretty good warranty on it, and it is a reputable brand name with a good reputation, and it's simple enough to where I can not only hook the pipes up to it, but I can do the electrical wiring myself. It's only like 3 wires. So, and we don't have to have an electrician come out and put in larger breakers or rework the breaker box in the house. So that's fine.
It's always a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, I finally figured out how to get the right search terms typed out so that I could find the darn thing. At one time we were going to go with a tankless, but it seems that almost all of those require much more electricity than a regular storage tank water heater. Don't know why. You get these little bitty ones that could fit underneath the kitchen counter or something and just run off of, say, like a light switch, just wire in a couple of other things and run the cable. But while I am qualified to do that, now I couldn't do it for anybody else, but for myself, yeah. I do possess the knowledge and the skill, but I don't have the license to do things like that.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a purely electric water heater.
Mm.
I've every water heater I've ever had has always been in gas. I mean, even the one that's here in the apartment, it's the two things that run off gas in the apartment are the furnace and the air conditioner. Everything else runs off electricity.
Mm-hmm. Now the house is total electric, so we got, if we wanted anything that required gas, we'd have to get a tank out in the backyard. We'd have to have a contractor come in and run the pipe. Have to have an inspector come out, make sure that the contractor did the job right. In this case, being total electric, I undo 3 wires from the old water heater, get it on the hand truck, get it outside, bring the other one in, plop it down in the place where it's supposed to go, put the 3 wires back, run the plumbing, and then turn the breakers back on. It will be nice to be able to take a shower again. It really will. It's been too long that I have been trying to figure out what search terms to use to find a water heater. I'm glad I finally figured it out. It might be, well, it's about half the size of the one that's in there already, the old one. So might not be any long, luxurious showers, but it's quite enough for kitchen sink, bathroom sink, and tub shower combination. Lindsay's wanting to replace the shower head in there, which is once again well within my abilities. You become a homeowner, you pick up a few skills out of necessity.
Hell, even I can replace a shower head.
Really, that I've had to learn 3 different styles of plumbing: PVC, copper, and this new stuff, PEX, which I'm going, hey, yeah, give me shark bite connectors for everything. Just put the plastic pipe in there, tap on it on the unfastened end with a rubber mallet until it seats correctly. Cut it off at the right place. Put it in the next shark bite connector. Really, don't even really need the rubber hammer. You just if I had enough mass, I could just push it in by brute strength. And then, yeah, there'll be some carpentry stuff I've got to do. I've got to when that water heater went out, it messed up the floor underneath. So I'm going to have to pull everything out of that water heater closet. I would call it a water closet, but that has different meanings in other countries. That
Yeah.
and I'm going to have to put down. I've got some pressure treated lumber that I'm going to redo what was particle board and chipboard. I hate particle board, and I'm not that much fonder of chipboard. They're affordable, but
They're not that bad depending what you're trying to build with it. But when you're trying to do, I don't like them for flooring.
No, no, and especially something that has a possibility of there being a water leak.
Uh-huh.
Particle board is worse than useless when it gets wet. And chipboard gets a little weaker because it's basically just wood chips glued together.
Yeah,
Plywood, plywood is better, but it is layers of wood that have been glued together. But
particle board, when it gets wet, you're probably better off having your flooring made out of pizza boxes.
pretty much, and wet pizza boxes at that.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of places where there have been leaks under the house that didn't get detected early enough. And several areas of that particle board are basically they've got all the structural strength of oatmeal. And I don't want to be walking on oatmeal, especially not when there's a 2-foot drop underneath it.
The only thing keeping you from going down is hopes and prayers.
Well, the chipboard or the plywood and the linoleum, that's about it. But we're going to have to replace the refrigerator too because Lindsay pointed out this refrigerator is almost 20 years old. And it's beginning to not be able to recycle the internal moisture anymore. So she's having to clean condensation out of it constantly, which annoys her to no end. And I can well understand why. Plus, new ones will be much more energy efficient. Oh dear. Excuse me a minute.
Okay, so apparently I need to carry the show for a couple moments. Fun. In political news, there's politics. Enough said. Now on to sports and entertainment. No, okay.
Sorry about that.
You okay?
Defective aspirin. It flaked in my throat. Uh, got nothing to do with the cheap beer that I drink. No. Mm. Speaking of cheap beer, give me about 3 steps and I will get a fresh one out of my teeny tiny little imitation Frigidaire cooler that my wife got me, and I just absolutely love. It is one of the most useful toys that I've ever had.
Give you 3 steps. Give you 3 steps, mister. Give you 3 steps towards the refrigerator door.
Yep, exactly. And it even has a Frigidaire logo across the front. I love it. I absolutely love it. There's another model of this that comes in a color scheme and uh, font on the name on it that makes it look like it's the old-fashioned red stand-up Coca-Cola vending machine.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Exactly. Oh, she got me this little toy um, a few years back now, and I didn't expect it to last long. It's not really a refrigerator. If
It's
you
a cooler.
if you leave something in it overnight, by the next afternoon, it's not going to be cold. It's going to be cool. It's like you don't need to fill it up with ice, but it does real good for about 8 to 12 hours. It'll keep everything at a decently beverage temperature.
It'll keep things consumable.
Mm-hmm. Uh, but
Speaking
and
of coolers, so for Crow's surgery, they were prescribed a
yes,
little cooler type thing, which I have one for my shoulder, and you know, after Misty realized it was the same thing, she was like, "Well, can we call him back and cancel this one?" I'm like, "The hell no!" I'm like, having more than one of those in the house is not a bad thing.
no,
With as often as we get injured and stuff like that, turns out Crow's is, no pun intended, cooler than mine.
mm,
It's the same size. Theirs actually has power buttons on it, where mine is just you plug it in, power immediately comes on it. It
uh-huh.
has a cool and coldest button, um, and then a compression button, and then a different uh, pad that wraps around the knee instead of the generic one that can be used on multiple portions of the body like mine. I'm like, this is well worth the $300. It's 2 years ago when we got mine. It was free. It was completely paid for. So as far as I'm concerned, we got this one for 50% off, and we paid 50% off for both of them. But yeah, it's they've been set up in their room with the new one, and they're they're digging it.
Doing them an awful lot of good.
Yeah, they're
Glad to
definitely
hear it.
feeling better.
Does the company have a family plan where everybody can have one? That would be great.
The funny thing is, the the company that provides them, um, it's my wife didn't realize. So it's the day before Crow had the work done on their knee. Misty had to meet the person at another one of Crow's appointments, so that they could be measured for a brace for the post surgery. And got there, and when the lady came to meet her to measure everything up, she's like, "Where do I know you from?" And Misty's like, "You drop stuff off and stock stuff at the urgent care I work at." And she's like, "Oh yeah." So it was funny because they actually knew each other. And then apparently it's one of the few people above the age of like 8 that is shorter than Misty. So Crow was poking fun at Misty because there's somebody shorter than you.
And they're not in diapers, right? I can just, given your sense of humor and how
Oh,
your
Crow is
wife
very
must have struggled to cope with your sense of humor, and you passed it on to your kids, I'm pretty sure.
Crow is very much my child. Yes. Oh God, Misty damn near killed me earlier. So she thought she dropped a snack cake in the wrapper behind the dining room table. So I'm like, so you need to go get the stepladder so that you can reach up and get it. So she was not happy with me.
Oh, and Thesis made a comment, I think, about my little beer fridge. If it's anything like the one his parents had, to freeze water bottles in it instead of adding ice. That way you can reuse them till bottles aren't usable anymore. I don't know for sure. I mean, there's no ice involved and no freezer bottles involved. You just switch it on and it chills things, but it's not an actual refrigerator. But one nice thing is, not only will it run off of AC, but it came with a DC plug that you could put in an automobile power socket, just like you would for my GPS or anything like that. Oh, for the machines after surgery for yep, got
That
it,
that
got
is
it. I
that
misunderstood.
that is what we do. I was about ready to say it sounds like what we do for both my polar cube and Crow's polar cube is we reuse water bottles, and then we can just stick that in the corner, just put a little bit of water in there, and then the thing caps down. But yeah, it's nice.
Well, it's always
It
good to
is
have
a
technology
fancy
that
toy.
actually works.
Yes.
Mm. I swear it sounds like it's raining again. Kind of hope it is. uh, all right, we went entirely too long without any rain whatsoever, and uh, my yard is well established, so a little bit too much rain is not going to hurt it whatsoever. Besides, we're on top of a hill; it'll just roll down into the neighbors' yards and flood their basement. I don't have a basement, so I don't have to worry about that. But Wish I did have a basement. Actually, it would make working on the plumbing much easier if I actually had room to stand up rather than have to lay on my back and do everything as if I were in some um, tunnel in a foreign country in the middle of a war or something. And of course, it is
Something
dark like
to
that.
lay on your back and have conversations with the spiders.
Well, yeah, we do have wildlife underneath the house. But the Black Widows and I have an understanding. I won't molest them if they don't molest me. So, and my version of molesting them would be, that insecticide that comes in spray cans that you can scatter everywhere. Don't piss me off. And I have done that a time or two for not the spiders, but for anything else that had managed to find its way into the crawl space and attempt to colonize. So yeah, I got down there and I was looking at the old furnace, the one that came with the house. Looks like they had to chainsaw the damn thing apart and then duct tape the bits and pieces back together after they got it through this little bitty doggy door into the crawl space. They did not
Oh,
put it there before they built the house. I can tell you that. It's too big, but it's patchwork. It's all patchwork. The entire house is patchwork. It was built by Housing and Urban Development back in the 50s and 60s. And first time I tried repairing weak spots in the floor, I found out that it's not 4x8 sheets of anything. It's bits and pieces that somebody cobbled together out of scraps from a uh, a home build or several home builds that they just jigsawed together, which kind of,
oh,
yeah, it's got inbuilt weak spots where two pieces without any reinforcement under them are joined together in an irregular pattern. Now, I have just
not even
about
a
made it.
Habitat for Humanity special.
Oh, no, that would be much better built. That would be much better built. This is, hey, we got some scraps. Let's build a house. Um, I've seen doghouses put together a whole lot better than this place. About the only professional job was the bricklaying. So I'm thinking strongly about I can set the depth of my circular saw and just go through the floor and the underfloor, and I might just take a page out of my ancestors' um, handyman book, and instead of having particle board and chipboard and then a floor on top of that, just go ahead and get like 2x10s and 2x12s and right across the floor joists so that it's got some strength to it, and I'll never have to worry about it again. And then go ahead and put some thin plywood on top of that, and I'm pretty sure that Lindsay's going to want to get some of that uh, really nice laminate flooring because she's tired of having to shampoo carpets and things like that, and she is definitely had it up to here with the peel and stick tile that we went with as the top layer the last times that I patched up things because we had carpet down, which if you have a lot of pets, carpet does not last long unmolested.
Yes.
And in the kitchen and dining room, it was basically just um, an old layer of linoleum, which had not been glued down properly to start with. But it was probably better glue than what's on the back of the peel and stick floor tiles from 20 years ago. So I've got a
It
couple.
doesn't take a lot to be better glue than that.
Yes. I've got a couple of areas where um, I really don't want to be unpeeling the peel and stick tiles because it's a really pretty pattern and it worked out really well. But I may have to um, cut the edges of that at an angle so that it's not a tripping hazard, but we get to keep that in front of the front door and the back door, and the rest of it, mm-mm. I'm in for strength and durability, and I don't have to do this job again for the rest of my life. And Nicholas is with us too. Hey, Nick.
Hey, brother. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got some good news Friday. They finally came to do the quarterly inspection. I will learn how to speak here eventually. It's not like I do it for a living. And the complex manager was happy that I was actually home because she had a chance to speak to me. We were supposed to move to a lower floor unit in a different building around the corner with an additional bedroom. But the people have not moved out of the unit yet. So she talked to me and she's like, yeah, better news for you. You know, it's the building that's literally right across the parking lot. I could actually throw a rock and hit the building. Actually, I could throw a rock and hit the unit that she's talking about. Um, is going to be moving out soon, and she's going to instead try to put us in that one, which is moving is literally maybe like the table and the entertainment center put into the back of a pickup truck and then just drive across the lot, turn around and put it back in. But everything else, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, just run it down the stairs, put it on dollies and just literally just wheel it across the lot because it would take longer to load a truck than it would to just go across the parking lot there. So looks like August would be able to move in over there.
That is
And it's
fantastic.
actually a unit that Misty was really hoping we would end up being able to get. Um, and it was recently redone. The people who are in it have only been there for like maybe 4 months, and they're I don't know why they're leaving. But it's an end unit, so we don't have to worry about being sandwiched on 3 sides by people making noise. We only have to worry about up and
Next
one
door
side.
and
So
upstairs. Yeah. Yep. I once moved from an apartment to a rental house, and they were close enough to where I didn't have a dolly, but I had a skateboard. I don't know where I got the skateboard. I really don't. It just
I mean, we actually
appeared. It just appeared in my possessions one day. Um, I think a neighbor's kid left it somewhere, and I go, well, if they ever come back to it for it, I'll have it. I'll be holding it safe for them until the end of time. But then at that time, I was doing the garage band thing, so I'm moving speaker cabinets and amplifiers on a skateboard across a parking lot, across a road, and across a little thin stretch of grass to a driveway, and then toting the stuff in the house. It's a whole lot better than uh, incredible hulking it the entire way. Um,
Yeah, we've got a couple of furniture dollies, which are basically just almost larger versions. A bunch of probably what 1x3s nailed into a square, and then casters put on the
yeah,
bottom. So
yeah. I actually have ordered some casters for when I rebuild my disc here because there's a couple of bits and pieces that I am not going to keep, but I like the theory of being able to roll something out of its place and get behind it and then roll it back into its place.
yeah,
Thesis has a point here. Uh, Obviously, they're leaving because the unit is haunted. Uh, in which case, ghost beware. Richie's on his way. Uh, and Nick is doing his scheduling with the demo Saturday the 27th.
hauntings don't bother me.
No, I mean seriously, Nick and Joe Dog. Um,
I, I'm professionally able to take care of that kind of stuff too.
oh, let's see. Yeah, today is today is the 21st now. It was the 20th while I was awake. Um, oh, that sounds like a weird thing. Um, but yeah, next Saturday is the 27th. I've got to get all of the short stories for the August Aphelion edited and do the HTML coding so that we can do the upload on, I think it will be August 3rd. So that's when the new issue is coming out. I've had several writers message me on like Tuesday the 2nd of a month and go, hey, where's the issue? And I go, hey, first Sunday of every month. If the first is not a Sunday, you got to wait a week. Okay. It's all right. Um, Yeah, they have not all been with us for 27 years. So it takes a while to get used to some of this stuff. But yeah, we go the first Sunday of every month so that it gives the staff at least 2 weeks to finalize everything and hear back from their writers and pass messages back and forth in case there's a last minute correction or something, or one editor goes, hey, page 37, paragraph 5, did you really mean to say this? Or am I misinterpreting it? Or what I thought you were trying to say is this. Which one do you want it to say? And, you 2 weeks is a good turnaround time for being able to bounce back and forth with someone. I mean, that works in with a lot of people's schedules. Rich bothers hauntings. And Thesis says they don't bother him either. No, I ain't afraid of no ghost. Daddy worked at Oak Ridge. Where you think them damn proton packs came from? Unlicensed nuclear reactors. I'm in. I'll be selling electricity back to the EMC. If their wires can handle it. Oh. That was one of the big selling points about early adopting solar around here, is that on really good solar days, you're actually selling electricity to the membership corporation, and they will give you credit off your electric bill in the wintertime when you're having to just use the grid. Let's see. Nick says something about big stompy robots here. Have a deadline for the next big stompy robots game expansion. August 6th, if you want a chance of Amazon prints available on site. Nick, deadlines are deadlines. It gives you something to aim for, agonize about, and ultimately to blast through victoriously.
Well, he's got a convention in September that he wants to make sure that he's got physical copies since he's publishing through the Zon.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you got to wait on them once you send them your stuff. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level of worry right there. But deadlines are still deadlines. Some people find them as motivations. Some people just enjoy the whooshing noise as they fly past.
I was about ready to say Douglas Adams, and his quote about deadlines are the most marvelous things. They make the most spectacular whooshing noise as they whiz past.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Would that we all were dangled infinite amounts of money just to sit down and type for a little while. I think Douglas Adams is the most famous procrastinating writer whose name is well known to the public. It's like, this was supposed to come out 2 years ago. Oh, I guess I should actually write it, huh?
I thought that was George R.R. Martin.
No, they don't give George deadlines. He is, hey, I've got an outline. Oh, here's $1 million. When it happens, it happens.
If it happens, it happens.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. He had not finished Game of Thrones when they started filming everything, and he had still not finished it by the time they ended filming everything, and they had to come up with their own endings.
They
Yeah,
were close to what he had originally planned out anyway, which is the reason that he let him do it.
yeah. I mean, I think his original brief was, "Hey, at the end, everybody dies." That was, it may not have been word for word what he wanted the characters to say, but it probably got the point across.
It's
And
also an adaptation. How much of that is ever
really,
that close?
adaptations are
Yeah.
never true to the source material. They can't be. There's a big difference between written
Otherwise, it
prose.
wouldn't be adapted.
Well, there's a big difference between a written story and a play, which is basically what television is. Thank you again for helping Rich. Display tablet dying would have crushed his efforts. And StompCon being September 2nd. Well, the whip is cracking, Nick. I know
And
you
Nick, you
can't.
are very welcome. It's as many times as you've been there to help other people out, and people have noped the fuck out as soon as they've gotten what they can out of you. I'm
Mhm,
glad that I was finally in a place where I could be the one helping you instead of having to be the one receiving help.
definitely. It feels really good to be able to help somebody.
Especially someone that does so much good.
Well, yeah. That makes it even better. That's the
I mean, it's like helping Santa Claus change a flat tire. I know, kind of lost. Sleigh doesn't use tires, but same difference. Just
landing gear. Landing gear. Here you go. Hey, I don't have any reindeer, but I got this horse that's been drinking my moonshine for 6 years. Uh, he ought to be able to pull something. um, let's see. George is a tolerable author who believes himself to be better than Tolkien. So fantasy is his shtick. Um, he comes across that way in interviews. I've never actually met the gentleman. He does come across that way. Um, I do know or knew, unfortunately, some of them are no longer with us. I do know other writers who are better known for science fiction, but can write very excellent fantasy as well. And quite a few, actually. I mean, even Larry Niven dipped his toe in the waters of scientifically grounded fantasy. My God. Um, read the Magic Goes Away stories. Um He actually made rules for how everything worked. That was astounding back in the 70s. People just go, "Hey, it's magic. This is how it works." Larry goes, "No, this is the physics. I'm sorry." Uh, he didn't call it physics, but that's what it turned out to be.
Well, Arthur C. Clarke, any sufficiently advanced technology is going to look like magic. It's just the reverse of that.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't take that in mind. But yeah, any sufficiently advanced magic is going to resemble technology. I've actually used that as a concept in some of my stuff. Soft magic versus hard magic, yes, indeed. What is this? Folks who are watching now or later, help Dan Hollifen's Stupid O'Clock stay on the air by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Nick, I hate to tell you this, we're going to stay on the air whether anybody watches this stuff or not. As long as Joe Dog is willing to transfer the money from his bank account to StreamYard, I'm willing to help keep both shows on the air. And I am in much better shape to do that than he is. Actual physics is quite magical, especially if you can keep that sense of wonder during study. Yeah. Look at quantum physics. If that isn't magic, I don't know what is. I mean, it's basically as above, so below. The actual classic principles. Um, the microcosm is the same as the macrocosm. The rules wind up being very similar. It's just we can only see the one. It's very hard to get a view on the very, very small. We don't have quite the ability yet, but more than once, the actual structure of electrons orbiting an atom's nucleus has been compared to solar systems, except their electron orbits don't have to be in the same plane. They can be in different planes at the same time. They just have to be in different energy levels. And then you look at different solar systems and you find planets not in the plane of rotation of the parent star. And a lot of people are going, well, those must have been captured. And I'm going, welcome to the wonderful world of electron valences and capture. This is why you have H2O instead of a bunch of H2 and a bunch of O, and never the twain shall meet. No, oxygen is kind of a prostitute, basically. She'll hook up with anybody. Oh, if you've ever looked at a benzene ring, you know what I'm talking about. I mean that's all hydrocarbons, but the only difference between this particular hydrocarbon and that particular hydrocarbon are the side groups. What electrons have latched on and gets added to the mix. It's like Brunswick stew. You don't know what's in it, but you know it's good. And basically, you don't want to know what's in it. Might be chicken, might be squirrel, um, might be the missing neighbor from down the street, depending on how deep in the South you live. Um, that ought to have deflected anybody from South Carolina going, oh, yo, we invented it. Oh, there are several places named Brunswick that claim that's where it was from. I mean, there's even a Brunswick, Georgia, and they claim that somebody there invented it. So actual physics is certainly quite magical if you can keep that sense of wonder during study. Yes. Actually, that's the second time I popped that comment up because I'm going, it's worth repeating. Um, and even when you're doing, things like some of the stuff that I write, which is basically Doc Smith super science, where it's so cutting edge you don't even know if it actually is real or could be. And the sticking point is could be, because people find out new stuff all the time, and some of that will go, oh, well, that is no longer something we can consider possible. We'll have to figure another workaround to make this little pocket miracle happen. Writers have to keep up with this stuff or invent it themselves and wait for the rest of the world to catch up. Um, People thought that Jules Verne was predicting a lot of things. No, he was just spending a lot of time at the library doing research. He would take cutting edge technologies that nobody else was paying any attention to and turn it into everyday set dressing for his adventure stories.
Jules Verne, one of the all-time fathers of romance literature.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was called back in the day, for those who don't know.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of people nowadays would kind of bust his chops over the questionable social beliefs that he held that were current at the time, but have since been proven untenable. Oh boy, that sounded educated, didn't it? Uh, oh, let's see. Could be the domain of high strangeness and the bailiwick of madmen, genius, and the blessed lunatics who dance between. I'm not good at dancing, but I will every once in a while. Uh, Blessed lunatics, yeah, that's certainly where I slot into all of that. Um, there was a time when I thought, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. There are actual particles that convey gravity, and they're called gravitons. And people are going, well, gravity's instantaneous everywhere. I'm going, wait a minute. E equals mc squared, right? Okay, maybe G equals MC cubed. It made sense to me as a 10-year-old boy. It doesn't fit with any theory that we've got now about anything. Gravity is just a side effect of mass in space-time, as far as I can understand. I'm not a scientist. I don't even play one on TV. I don't even play one in real life.
But did you stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night?
Nope. But if I did,
All right, we're screwed then. Yeah.
I would have stole the shampoo. H.P. Lovecraft was a xenophobic bigot, but the man could write cosmic horror. If I can work around his shenanigans, Jules Vernon's easy. Yeah, exactly. And a thing that I pointed out about Lovecraft over and over again is you only learn about his xenophobia and his bigotry if you dive into his biography. If your only knowledge of him is the stories that he wrote, there are bigoted bits and pieces in there that were, even for the time, frowned upon. But considering he thought of himself as somebody displaced in time from a much earlier century. It's understandable, but it's still not right. And he's not the only one by any means. There have been lots of people that have been just so fond of this writer and that writer and another writer, and then they learn more about them as a person. And for some folks, that ruins the work. Whereas if you've never dived into the biography, the work would have been just exactly the same. Now, see,
Yeah,
there's a fine
sometimes
line.
learning about your
There. I
heroes
do not
what
want to
screws you.
dance upon. I like to think that gravity is the ripples of mass going through space-time and a whole lot of energy beings trying to hop off the ride. Yeah, he was a confirmed misanthrope. And then again, he briefly got married because there was a woman that walked up to him and pretty much one day and said, "Hey, you're mine," and lived to regret it later. Never change. Never try and change a stubborn man. Ladies, and gentlemen for that matter, never try and change an imperfect partner. It's going to end in tears every time. People get set in their ways. And basically, if you want to be happy, just find somebody you can get along with. And
Well, here's the thing. If, I love them, I'm going to change them. You don't really love them.
mm-mm. You love
You love the idea of them.
All right, let's pull this back up here. But the attempt to understand the perspective of a person, we must allow them their faults. Yes, you're right, but no, I don't want to even ruin that with a but. You're right, and at times society advances and matures, and the perspective they held, which at the time might have been perfectly normal, might have been somewhat reprehensible, or might have been the absolutely textbook case of what everybody else thought. But that's the thing. Just like children, societies mature, rules evolve, behavior evolves. Um, and it changes, and sometimes it gains ground and sometimes it loses ground. The Greeks and the Romans didn't have an awful lot of problem with what today we would call alternate sexualities, but other societies at the same time, other civilizations, certainly did. And as things change over time, it's like the ocean. It's like a series of waves. People only domesticate themselves if and when they are ready. Yeah, absolutely. I will agree with that 100%. It's easier to domesticate a cat than a person. It's a wondrous thing. The written word is the written word is it crystallizes the person's views at the time. Yeah. So it is unfair to judge folks by current morality. hmm Um, Sometimes you get a lot of trouble trying to explain the concept that morals change over time as the society the morals are part of evolve. Uh, there have been periods in history, and some of them quite recent, where folks have decided that the rules are too strict and they're not going to um, abide by those. They're going to write something of their own, and hopefully part of that is harm no one. Uh, when it works, it works. When it doesn't, it doesn't. Um, we see it even today, and we probably notice it more today because thanks to modern methods of communication, the world has gotten a whole lot smaller than it used to be. When it used to take several months to send a message from one continent to the other because you had to cross an ocean, And nowadays it's beamed by satellite, so it only takes a few seconds. It seems like the world shrinks. The world's still the same size, but the information delay, the lag time has decreased.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more and a lot more varied ideas being disseminated everywhere. And that's, well, I started to say that's never a bad thing, but sometimes it is a bad thing depending upon the outcome. But
Our world today has shown that it can very quickly and easily become a bad thing, especially when with news media nowadays, you have people who worry about being first rather than correct.
mhm,
Back when newspapers were first becoming the big thing, they worried about, is this story right versus can we sell 15,000 more copies by having this sensationalist thing first? And too many media outlets, especially as we crept into radio and then video and now with video on demand and with everything being so instantaneous
mhm.
that instant communication is now becoming a hindrance rather than a benefit.
Yes, now the let's be first rather than let's get this right is becoming more important. Um, and then as a holdover, let's just make stuff up because it'll sell.
What's
National
sad is
Enquirer, Weekly World News. I mean, seriously. Uh,
the Onion, who they do that day in day out, and I don't know if you guys get the Onion down there.
I've heard of
It
it.
is sensationalism to be to be sensationalist. It's the Python of newspapers.
Hmm.
It's meant to be absurd. When you can't tell the difference between a CNN headline and an Onion headline, the world has gone to a very dark and scary place.
Mm. Well, I hate to say it, but the world has always been a dark and scary place. But there are beacons of light around, even now. Um, I mean, there was a time when the major 24-hour news networks, if you wanted something that was just what happened, you had to tune into something from a foreign country. You couldn't trust your own country because everybody had their own spin. Everybody had their own agenda they wanted to push. And this has not gone away. It would be nice if it would be greatly reduced, but as long as it makes money for that network, that chain of networks, that conglomeration, basically, it's not going to go away, and it may continue to get worse until people mature some more and it just collapses of its own ridiculousness. There are fewer people that think the National Enquirer is an actual newspaper these days than there used to be, like in the 60s and 70s. Some of those folks thought that was gospel. And the Weekly World News with Bat Boy, people swore by that. There's still conspiracy theories about some of that stuff. Um, and it crosses into other um, reporting outlets.
One of my
there's
favorite lines from So I Married an Axe Murderer. Charlie, give me the paper. Mom, the Weekly World News is not the paper.
Yeah. I like the attitude of some of the people that I met over in England. They're going, if you're getting your news from the Morning Star or whatever instead of the Times, you you're just playing into it, you know. You are the stooge they have been looking for. Oh yeah, Nick, I imagine you were, but proud subscriber to the Weekly World News. Yeah, you just wanted to make sure they didn't get any photographs of you.
Was this before they adopted the page 3 girl or after, Nick?
I think they always had the page 3 girls.
Weekly World News? No. Like the Sun and the British ones? Yes.
Sun in the Mirror, yeah. Nick, you're gonna get us in trouble. Yeah, right. Before, during, and after for the page 3 girls. Yeah. Remember, folks, the views expressed on this program are not necessarily parallel to the views of the channel owner, which is not me. That I just reign here. Uh, oh,
And they're not necessarily the same views that we will espouse come the morning when we finally wake up. Oh, fuck did I say last night?
really, how much beer did I drink? Why are there 2 empty kegs in the front yard? Oh wait, it's not a con. Oh. No, I think the takeaway from all of this is that human societies have been evolving and changing and mutating as long as there have been humans. And that is not just us, that's the other species that fall into this particular genus. But the only constant is she's cute. I want to mate with her. You know, that's one thing that humanity has never gotten over. Although my mind boggles at the concept of a hot Neanderthal chick, but then again, we don't really know what they look like. And evidently, the Denisovians were more Grace Isle and I guess it's like comparing football players to ballet dancers, sort of thing. And somebody's gonna have to pass me a ladder if I keep digging. Um, oh, good friends who showed up in their quality reporting. Uh, yeah. Um, just don't look at don't. Oh, Nick. Tucker's theory of elven inclusion. The mythological races didn't die out, they just bred in. Yes, exactly. And Nick, if somebody wants you to look at this bright, flashy thing, don't look.
Don't look, Ethel. Too late. She'd been moved.
Oh, ah. The universe is not only stranger than we imagine, it's stranger than we can imagine. Even when we have hard physical evidence, some people don't believe it. And then again, somebody will fake hard physical evidence and it will be believed for hundreds of years. Piltdown Man, for one thing. Um, somebody really annoyed a fellow that was living near an archaeological dig, so he put some stuff together and filed the serial numbers off and tossed it in the hole and covered it up. And then they dug it up and go, oh, this layer is this age, so this must be this. And oh, wow, here's a missing link. The only missing link was in your chain of logic. Um, it's like the difference between an individual and a crowd. Individuals have many different levels of potential. They may be kind, they may be brilliant, they may be just outstanding, they may be horrible. But in the aggregate, as was said, I believe, in Men in Black, people are just panicky animals and they will do the worst possible things at the worst possible times for the worst possible reasons. We got here. It's a long paragraph. Jokes on them. I have astigmatism, alternative neurowiring due to experimental seizure treatments. MIB flashy things just give me a headache and get the stuck in his head. Oh dear. Uh, oh, Nick, please never lose your humor. Never ever lose your sense of humor. You are a national treasure.
He's tried to lose his sense of humor before. People keep dropping off, going, "You cannot leave this here."
Somebody left this burning on my porch. I think it's yours. Oh dear. Speaking of astigmatism, Nick, the weirdest thing. Last time I went in for an eye exam, the optometrist asked me, "What happened to your astigmatism? You've had that since you were first prescribed glasses. Now it's gone." And I'm going, "I don't know. I didn't do anything. Uh, maybe you got tired of paying rent. I don't know."
There have been long been claims that certain exercises and things of that nature can help retrain the muscles in your eye to strengthen themselves again, to basically remove the need for glasses in several afflicted individuals.
I can well believe that. Uh, Not only is the astigmatism gone, but since the age of sitting staring at a computer in order to have fun and do work, uh, my nearsightedness has gotten less. And that's because a lot of the time that I'm sitting at a computer, I don't have prescription glasses on. I mean, in the shows, I have non-prescription glasses on, but when I'm just sitting here typing, when I'm was sitting at work for years using the computer instead of having to do the other more physical tasks that I used to have to do there, I would just wear the plastic safety glasses with no prescription in them. That way, nobody could come by and be a safety Karen and go, hey, you can't be taking your safety glasses off while you're typing on that computer. And with the non-prescription, just regular plastic lenses that were safety glasses, my eyesight changed a bit. Not dramatically, just a little. Except for the astigmatism. I still can't figure that one out. Um, Somebody suggested once that was because I am no longer um, well, because I'm now of a more mature age. I'm going, oh, you mean rapidly approaching 70? Yeah, I get that one a lot. Um, yeah, that people's bodies just naturally the eye reshapes itself. Then again, it could have been partly due to the concussion from the car wreck in 2007. I mean, there was a time when I could not wear my prescription glasses because the swelling of my brain had reshaped my eyeballs, and I had 20/20 vision. When I put my prescription glasses on, I couldn't see nothing. Everything was out of focus. As the months passed, the swelling decreased. Um, Although there will be people who say the IQ did not increase, but then again, everybody says that from time to time. Uh, it went back to almost normal for me. Um, my sense of humor is an Aphelion level cognito hazard. The SCP Foundation just monitors me, and as long as I'm presenting it as harmless quirkiness, no one would care. Aphelion was that a typo in that word? Because it's not part of my vocabulary, Nick.
So the SCP is kind of like a creepypasta type thing for creatives, where they're basically doing kind of MIB type things where they're making stories about these Lovecraftian almost type of uh, phenomena that can be world-ending type events. You know, there's different levels there, and then the most serious, scariest level for them is the Apollonian level.
Okay, so it was just something I had never run into before.
Yeah.
Old Gods of Appalachia by any other name. I'm still honored, Nick. Thank you. Although the only person I'll ever be dangerous to is myself, which is not necessarily a bad thing. At least my conscience is clear, which is not necessarily a good thing in some cases. I'd rather do the right thing for the wrong reasons than the wrong thing for the right reasons. I do enjoy the thought of monitoring analysts trying to decipher our actual intentions. They go nuts with me. It's just pure brony in motion. I have no intentions. I kid Lindsay about being so easily distracted in a store, and I call her Madam Pinball. She'll just there, and squirrel, here's something else, and I'm going, honey, you said we needed to leave like an hour ago. But I'm not any different. I mean, there's no purpose. It's all just, oh, that's interesting. Wonder why that works. And then I'm off on another tangent there. And good morning, Kiri. Good to see you. Let me look at the clock here. Oh, okay. We've got an hour and a half already. That's good. Time is just flying by.
Holy cow.
Yeah, really. I'm going to have to get my steps in here. 3 at a time. I do love not having to walk to the far end of the house. Because it means I don't have to risk a perpetually starving cat or a dog that wants me to go to bed because she wants to go to sleep and she's not comfortable sleeping without me in the bed, and then she still won't let me reach out and hold hands with my wife because the dog gets jealous. Oh, Nick, that is a high compliment. A man is only peaceful if he has the capacity to be dangerous when necessary. A man is harmless if he lacks such capacity. You, sir, are quite peaceful indeed. I'm trying to hide it, Nick. Quit telling everybody. You want me to get locked up? If they knew how dangerous I really was, I probably never would have been allowed to graduate high school. Almost. Well, there was no uncertainty about me graduating. There was a certain amount of doubt that my being accident prone might prevent my surviving until being able to graduate. My folks always said I could trip over a paperclip on a concrete floor. And Dad used to joke that I could trip over the only cornstalk in a freshly plowed field. Could be smooth as a mirror with one little obstruction, and I'm going, oh!
Gravity, she works.
Yeah. The more you expound on a virtue, the less the world takes it seriously. Yeah. Believe me, if the world at large ever took me seriously, I'd be in deep trouble. Oh, with my sense of humor and the hair triggerness of my absurdity, there's a reason why I greatly admire Arthur Byron Cover as a writer. He can take the truly absurd and spin a story around it in such a way as you go, oh, I wish this were true. Or, oh my God, I hope this isn't true, depending on your point of view. He is one of those folks that I think Douglas Adams would have really admired. And Terry Pratchett would have gone, where you been, cousin? It's now he has written some stuff on contract to other like computer game creatives where he was asked to play around in their universe, and it's a little not quite everyone's cup of tea, but he put his own individual spin on it. But they're let's see, The Platypus of Doom and Other Stories, and East Wind Coming. Those are titles of two different books, and I wish I could remember the third one. They explore the idea of archetypes as characters. And when the archetypes decide to change into slightly different characters because they've run across new information that made them change their worldview, if only slightly. Um, I think one of my favorite ones was in Platypus of Doom. The story was called The Armadillo of Destruction. Believe me, if you're not ready for this level of absurdity, you either won't like it or you go, oh, take my money, give me more. Uh, there's also another story about the Clam of Catastrophe, which was a failed love goddess. She would put romantic couples together, but it never worked. Not in the long run. Yes, we're still live. We still got like 20 more minutes, Joe Dog. I think, if it is Joe Dog. Somebody trying to make sure I'm not sitting here with my head down and everybody looking at my bald spot for 5 hours, which I'm grateful for. But yes, if I do have to admit, if Richie hadn't showed up to help me with the show tonight, I would have run the opening credits, run a couple of ads, and said, "Thank you very much, everybody. Good night," and run the end credits. But I've done the show by myself for almost 90 minutes, thinking it was going to be, hey, I'll run an ad, I'll sign off. But people popped into the comments and kept me answering questions and expounding my personal blend of philosophy for almost 2 hours. Yes, it is, Joe Dog. He woke up to finish and change out a 3D print. So, yep, good luck with it. I hope it works. I hate it when the 3D printer does not work for you. I know that's got to be very, very frustrating when you spend so much time on something and then just when you thought it was going to be wonderful, the printer has a problem.
Pardon me. That reminds me, I need to finally load these sliced parts for that Nerf blaster
Mm.
onto my flash drive and print it out and make sure I've got enough resin in the tank to print it.
Uh, looks great, and once painted, it'll be for sale.
No, there's no commercial license for that model, but
Mm.
I can give them away.
My apologies if my commentary kept you up. Nick, no. I mean, if I'd wanted to sleep, I wouldn't have scheduled a damn show. Besides, I can't do carpentry when my wife is sleeping. Imagine the uproar with me hammering nails in the floor. Oh, and
So you,
Kiri's with us.
you can. It's just,
Not if I want to stay
Whoop your
married.
butt. Yeah, I was gonna say, whoop.
How you doing, Carrie? Thank you. Uh,
Good morning, guys. I'm waking up. How are you?
we are, let's see, where's the counter? There it is. We're about 15 minutes from winding down, but you know, hey, thank you for popping in, and thank you for your comments in the comment section. Oh, geez, I had to look for the name of it.
I tried to go to bed shortly after I left the green room last night. Heading down the hall to the bedroom, and Misty is like, "Why isn't my computer making sound?" Oh, son of a bitch! Trek back down the hallway, troubleshoot that, get ready to get up and go to bed. Well, what about this? Son of a bitch! All right, now that I'm down back at your computer again, tell me everything you want me to fix right now, so I know how long before I can go to bed. And then I tried to go to bed after that, and my brain was just firing on all cylinders until like 10 till 5 this morning.
Yeah. I had found myself being so wired when I wanted to go to bed that I was taking 2 of the 5 milligram melatonin because, that's not necessarily a drug. It's more natural than that. Like some drugs are not natural, but yeah, anyway, had almost emptied the bottle, so I went down, and the store had 10 milligram. And I'm going, okay, this ought to help. It's like Gallagher said, your loved one can't sleep? Drug them. No, it's not like I'd be taking half a dozen Benadryl to fall asleep, because that would be stupid. No. Let's see. Kiri, don't take this personally. Joe Doug's just trying to pick on you. You're getting desperate to be in our company. And Nick is going, Rich, if it works, Legal Dynamics files complete with commercial licenses are quite cheap, under $10 in most cases.
Right, but the Cricket was the one that he will not put a commercial license out for.
Oh, well. I have no suggestions because I have no knowledge in this area of expertise.
But if it works, there's and if it works, and if I can make it down to StompCon, there's no possibility of me running a few dozen of them off and hiding them throughout the booths.
Well, talk about cryptic comments. Found my K-Bar Tactical Spork. I'm worried now. I actually understand that.
So
that's the one. That's the one made out of titanium, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. It's kind of like, oh, John Wick's spoon. What?
Oh dear God! John Wick
Hydrazine will
picked up
be
that
the
many
new
people with a
Benadryl
pencil.
in 3 more years. Isn't hydrazine what they use in rocket engines? I'm not drinking that stuff. Oh, wait a minute. I drink crack and rum. I get okay. If you can come up with a good mixer.
No, it's a medication that is often used for individuals with certain psychological issues. It is also a antihistamine.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's an antihistamine, somebody will ban it because it's useful to keep you from having a runny nose.
No, it's actually more often used in mental health care. I've had several members of the family that were prescribed that.
Okay.
Yeah, if Joe Dog's gonna be awake at this hour, I got something for him. I arrived a bit early for my dinner reservation, and the manager asked, "Do you mind waiting a bit?" I said, "Not at all." "Good," she said. "Take these drinks at table 9.
Emotional damage.
Oh, oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, I have the most amazing friends. Yes, I will. I will never get over quoting Thin Man movies. Thank you. No, I have never laughed so hard as when I first heard the line, "You may serve the nuts now." And then she had to correct herself. No, no, you may serve the nuts to the dinner guests now. And the waiter's passing around bowls of mixed nuts. 1920s fancy dinner parties. Who knew? Oh, and Nick likes your joke, even if Joe Dog thinks. Well, I don't know what Joe Dog thinks. But
I
that
don't
was
know
yeah.
if
Who
Joe Dog
knows?
thinks.
Hey, I wasn't going that far. I mean, he does own the channel.
I'd be afraid to get into Joe Dog's head and see what he would be thinking about.
There could be scarier places. Yeah. Nope, not going to explain that. I'm going to leave it cryptic. Observe my behavior at a convention sometime. Yep. Sometimes there is a benefit for being observant. You see things happen, and you just go, that's a work of art there. Moving along. I think Nick's right. Get it when it is Joe Dog's head, you just get brick rolled. And not in
All
a fun way.
variations of Rick Roll.
Mm-hmm. Either that or tackled by a small dog or a cat that sits on your shoulder and farts in your face. I'm sure he still has nightmares about that. Payback's hell. The cat got tired of you. You think that's impressive? Try this one, buddy. Oh dear! Now
If there's
we
a
really we have taken a nosedive here in the last few minutes. It's not because Kiri showed up. Oh dear! Oh dear!
I think the nightmare would be Donna running around with the pan with the cat in her on her shoulder.
I'm still. I've got an open book on running the odds on Donna with a frying pan. Kind of like Colonel Mustard in the pantry with a candlestick.
Sorry, I started falling down a rabbit hole of apparently HBO is going to have a Green Lantern TV series.
I have heard that.
Mm.
Until it comes out on DVD, I'll never get to see it. I've got enough streaming services as they are right now. And Nick, stay on target. Yeah, that worked out very well for that guy, didn't it? Let's see. Guys, we're running up close to the 2-hour mark. We've still got a couple of minutes. If there's anything that you want to get out there before the public, say it now. One last dad joke, Kiri. Isn't Ryan Reynolds busy? Ryan Reynolds is always busy. One of these days, he's going to be known as the hardest working man in Hollywood, even though he makes it look like he's just walking around and being a smartass on camera. Because he's just walking around and being a smartass on camera, but he gets paid for it. Life goals. Last bids. Place your bets.
$2. What did we bid on?
$20.
Ooh, I think Kiri wins. I don't know what we're bidding on, but Soul American. Oh, and Nick says there was a new Green Lantern. Do you mean physically a new Green Lantern character got invented, or what, Nick?
There's now a Gray Lantern Corps. They are powered by sadness.
I have seen the thumbnail for that, and I'm going, this may be a bridge too far. But it fits in the entire emotional spectrum shtick that they've been doing for a few years.
And they've also taken the new flavor of it, and they have someone that's basically trying to wipe out all the other power batteries and basically um, build new ones themselves so that they can take over all the Lantern Corps type of thing, and then Carol Ferris runs off to save Hal one last time, and her fiance left at the altar, just starts to cry, and the wedding ring turns into the Gray Lantern ring, and he turns into a Gray Lantern.
Okay. Well, I mean that's a novel
It's
idea.
interesting.
And that's a novel idea. Ryan Reynolds, famous, led the rather tanked Green Lantern. I actually enjoyed his Green Lantern movie. I did not mind the CGI. I'm one of the few people I know of that actually thought, up until the big climactic thing at the end, it was going rather well, but the script kind of fell apart.
The script needed a lot of work. Decent cinematography, good effects, good acting for the script that they had.
Yeah. And it is arguable that Ryan Reynolds acting as Hal Jordan in that movie directly led to somebody going, Deadpool? We'll give it a shot. No pun intended. Tell me someone here knows about Homestar Runner. No, we don't. Or I don't.
I do.
Okay.
No, there will be no Trogdor the Burning Nation.
Hmm?
Trogdor the Burninator was a dragon from Homestar Runner.
Oh, okay. On that note, folks, we passed 2 hours and don't want to end it here, but if we don't, we'll be here all night. Thank you, Richie. Thank you, Kiri. Thank you, everybody that's been in the comments. Nick, Joe Dog, Thesis, anybody whose name I can't remember without having to scroll up. It's really nice to have you here. We will do it again next week. I do not know if there will be any stupid o'clocks next week, but the possibility is open. If not, I will schedule Last Man Standing at its regular Thursday night, 11 p.m. time, Sunday morning, 1 a.m. time, Eastern Standard, and we'll reconvene the absurdity as and when we can. So let me click over here to Brand, and thank you very much, folks. Time to say goodnight, Gracie.
Good
night, Gracie.
Bye-bye.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. shut down. System will 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 shut down.